Hey everyone, and welcome to Intro to Film. My name is Rob Nyland, and I'm your instructor for the course. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of an intro to this semester, or this quarter, excuse me, just to kind of give you an idea of how to kind of navigate the course and just what the overall feeling and pace of the course is. So my name is Rob. I've written a little bit about me in the Getting Started module, so go check that out. Kind of the short of it is I currently live in Utah, but I'm going to be kind of moving this quarter to take on a new position in Boise. So you may see me bouncing around a little bit, but I should be a pretty constant presence here online. This course is Intro to Film, which is Humanities 110. So it does fulfill one of your general education requirements at Lake Washington. And I'm excited. I've been teaching this class for probably about 5 years now, and I have a lot of fun with it, and I always like to kind of help expose students to the world of film. Most students who take this course don't know much about it, and about film, that is, and so I think this is a good way to kind of get introduced to different aspects of the filmmaking process. So I'm going to kind of take you through this course and just show you how I've laid out things in Canvas. So first, we're going to start in the syllabus. And I'll kind of go through these at a pretty high level because I'll let you read through them at your own pace. But just kind of one thing to know about me, this is my email address. You can get a hold of me by emailing me or messaging me through Canvas. And Canvas emails should bounce directly to my regular email, so I'll see them right away, and then I will get back to you. As I mentioned before, I don't live in Washington. I don't live in Kirkland. So I'm not able to meet with you face to face, but if you ever want to chat through email or by call, we can do that, or we can even arrange some kind of video conference if you want to talk a little bit further and in more depth. I'm always open to that. So the purpose of this course is it's not a film production class. Like, we're not going to be learning tools to produce films, learning about cinematography in terms of shooting, and it's really kind of a film appreciation class. So we'll be understanding all of those roles, but kind of taking more of a survey approach to understanding what people on a film do and how they contribute to making art. As I said before, it's completely online. We will not meet face to face. Everything's going to be turned in via Canvas. The course outcomes, the first is demonstrate a basic understanding of the historical development of the film medium. So we'll be kind of doing that in the first few weeks. Relate films to their cultural heritage and historic context. Analyze and express a comprehension of how aesthetic elements, including mise-en-scène, genre, narrative structure, directing, editing, cinematography, etc., contribute to creating film meaning. That's kind of where we're going to be spending most of the time of our course, is kind of talking about each of those issues. And then write thought-provoking critical analyses about films using accurate and appropriate vocabulary of cinematic terms and acknowledging recognized approaches to film study. The way that we're going to be assessing you is we're going to be doing several different things in this course. We will have quizzes. We're going to have weekly film screenings. We're going to be talking about a variety of topics and then kind of applying it to a film that we're watching. We'll also be creating a filmmaker's workbook where you'll kind of take on the role of a filmmaker throughout the quarter. You'll then also create a final presentation that really analyzes the work of a particular director, film movement, or genre. In terms of supplies for the class, there is no textbook. The one thing that I would highly recommend, it's not required, but I would highly recommend, is a Netflix account. And that is because we will be watching films every week in the course. And I've kind of made a point to have several of those available to you on Netflix. So if you don't have a current Netflix account, I think it would be something to get for the kind of the duration of the course, and you obviously get other benefits of having the Netflix account. But that being said, you are available to get a lot of these films through the Lake Washington Library or the King County Library. It's just funny, when I started teaching this class, it was a lot easier to get your hands on DVDs, and now with DVD stores kind of going the way of the buffalo, it's really tough to get those. So yeah, Netflix account is what I'd highly recommend. no textbook. Everything that you need to know is contained within the course. In terms of grading, the course is graded on a 1,000-point scale. It's going to be a combination of several activities that you'll be doing throughout the course. You'll have 10 discussion forum questions, so those are a weekly discussion forum based on screenings, 9 quizzes, 10 filmmakers workbook posts, and then a final project. So the total score is out of 1,000, and then here's the breakdown for those grades. And just be aware that you need to get a 730 or higher in order to get a passing grade in the class. Everything below a 2.0 at the school doesn't count towards your degree, so you need to get at least a 2.0. One thing that is really important is running grade reports, and so please check out this section to get an accurate grade report. Kind of the gist of it is, if you, I don't automatically give you a 0 for work that you haven't turned in, and so if let's say you're missing a lot of work, you could be thinking you're doing awesome. And I've had students do that before, where they're like missing, 6 weeks worth of work, and they're like looking at their grade report and they're like, awesome, I'm getting a 90%. Well, that's not really true. It's basically saying that of the work that you've turned in, you've got a 90%, but if I were to turn everything else to a 0, you wouldn't be getting that. But the reason I don't do that is because I do allow you to turn things in late. So just be sure to kind of look at this section to make sure that you're running your grade report accurately in the course. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the assignments and kind of the weekly cadence that we're going to have in the class. So every week there's kind of a bunch of assignments that you'll want to complete, and these are really regular, so it's pretty predictable of knowing when you need to complete things. So let's talk about that. So starting out every Tuesday, essentially, kind of the first week, well, since this class isn't starting until Tuesday, so every Tuesday I release content for the week. So let's say on Tuesday I release content for week 1, okay? So that's going to have a bunch of content to it, and then you're going to have some different due dates associated with that. So in that content is usually going to be a lecture from me. So that's a video lecture that's been pre-recorded with a PowerPoint presentation. So that's kind of our reading material for the week. So you'll have that, and then on Thursday you're going to have a quiz that's based on that material, and that quiz is due by Thursday evening at midnight. And then I want you to, once you've kind of taken that quiz and understand the material a little bit more, you're going to pick your film that you're going to watch. So you're going to go to the discussion forum, pick your film, you're going to watch it, you're going to write your response to that. So I'm going to give you a couple of questions that I want you to answer, and then I want you to write your response, and then kind of discuss with other students their responses. And the thing I really like about the discussion forum is that students aren't always watching the same film. I give you 5 different choices for every week. You do not need to watch all of them. You only need to watch one of them. So you watch that film, you're going to write kind of your answer to the question based on that film, and then other people are going to be watching different films, but they might see similarities in terms of that topic that we're talking about that week. So I think it creates a pretty cool dynamic in the course, and you get excited about watching some of the other films that you maybe didn't see that week. So that's the discussion forum, and basically that's due. I want you to kind of get your initial post before Saturday or so. It's not like a hard deadline, but then that just allows people to kind of follow up before Monday evening, the end of the day Monday, which is kind of the deadline for those discussion forums. Okay, so that's the discussion forum, and then we have the filmmaker's workbook. So what the filmmaker's workbook is, I always think of it as like fantasy filmmaking, and that may sound a little bit weird, but the idea of fantasy football is where I'm creating kind of an idea for a football team. What would I want to kind of bring onto my team? So the filmmaker's workbook, you're going to be creating an idea for a film throughout the quarter. Some of you may find this task really hard, and that's kind of usual. But the purpose of it is to really get you in the shoes of a filmmaker and thinking about the decision that a filmmaker makes on a daily basis when they're creating a film. You're not actually going to be creating this film, but week by week you're going to be kind of building this thing out, and then by the end of the quarter you're going to have a pretty cool concept for a film that you've kind of just built yourself. So the filmmaker's workbook, you're going to be posting ideas in response to prompts that I'm giving you, and then other people are going to be giving you feedback. And that filmmaker's workbook is also due by Monday night at midnight. Okay, so quizzes on Thursday, discussion forums, and filmmakers workbook on Monday. And then starting in week 2, I do have an extra credit activity, and that's just really incentive to get you looking into the content early in the week. So every Wednesday, starting on week 2, I will have an extra credit quiz. It's just 5 points, but it's only available that day. So you have to kind of get in to the course that day in order to get a hold of that. So yeah, so that's the extra credit. In terms of course policies, I won't talk too much about this. Important thing is just my late work policy. So I do allow late work, but it's 10% off for every week that something's turned in late with a 3-week maximum. After that point, I don't accept any late work, and the content will actually prevent you from turning in that late work. So yeah, so you can turn things in late, but yeah, you will be penalized for it. And that's really just to kind of incentivize you to kind of stay up to date on the course, because I know that students can fall behind, and if they fall too far behind, then it's really tough to get them caught back up with the rest of the class. Plagiarism, you know, a lot of this content you could pull from the web, especially synopses to film. I really want you to write your own stuff, and if it seems like you're pulling material from somewhere else, I can usually gauge that, usually because maybe you're giving it like a ton of thought to something. I saw a really good critique of a Christopher Nolan film a few years ago, and I was like, I just don't believe this is the students. And sure enough, if I copy the whole thing and put it into Google, I found the webpage with the same critique. So I'm wanting you to kind of provide your own material. That's like the most important thing to me. I want original thought on your part. Trying to think if there's anything else. The rest of the stuff is just about some resources that are available to you. Yeah, so these are college resources that you may want to look into. Here is all the assignments, and you can also see that on the calendar. And let me pop over really quick into our modules. And this is where you can kind of see all of the content. So I've laid out everything on a week-by-week basis. So the Start Here folder has some materials to get you started in the course. That's where you found this video, and then all of the different weeks content as you go through. So I think that's all. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you, but I'm excited for this this quarter, and for the work that you guys are going to do, and I hope that you'll enjoy the class. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.